This episode of the D-Pad will focus on Forza Motorsport 5. It will start off from my review of the game. And then after that, me and brother will compete in a race to see who could come out on top. All of this coming up right here on the D-Pad.
Brad Davis present.
Alright, hello everybody, and welcome to a new episode of the D-Pad. I'm your host Brad Davis, and you're watching a show that's all about video games. This episode will take a look at Forza Motorsport 5. Now, the previous Forza Motorsport games over these past few years have been great, and therefore many people anticipated Forza Motorsport 5 for the Xbox One, the new next generation Xbox console. So, how do I like the game? Well, you find out in my review, that's coming up right now. Forza Motorsport 5 played a pretty big role in me getting an Xbox One. I've been a big fan of Forza for years now, and Forza 5 looked like one of the best launch exclusives for the new consoles. Now that I have had a good time with the game, I can say that Forza 5 is the worst Forza game when putting each entry's time of release into perspective. Forza 5 is still a fun, solid game, but there are many things that disappoint me. The content has been cut back in comparison to Forza 4. There are fewer cars and tracks. While this isn't anything new in terms of racing games at the launch of a console, it's still disappointing. In terms of the cars, many of the better cars are harder to get thanks to the game's implementation of virtual currency like tokens. While things have been improved in updates, it still seems harder to get better cars. When you add this in with the game's pretty blatant way of telling you how you can buy more tokens with actual money, Forza 5 definitely seems to be greatly made with transactions in mind. This has seemingly impacted the game's career mode as well. Now when you go through the races in career mode, you don't have to be in the top 3 places in order to get a decent amount of credit for purchasing upgrades and other cars. There's now a gold range, a silver range, and a bronze range. Therefore, even if you are 8th place in a race, you want to continue on in a race and not give up, since 7th place could get you into the silver bracket and give you a decent amount of credit in comparison. I was the type of person who would restart races in previous Forzas when I didn't come in first, so while this new breakdown is more than likely due to the changes made in the game's currency, I still like it since it encouraged me to move on to other races instead of restarting them multiple times. Speaking of race events, another big change to the races in Forza 5 are drivatars. Drivatars are in-game AI based on how your friends race in Forza 5. So essentially, this creates a feeling as if you are always playing against your friends even when they aren't online racing against you. While this sounds great on paper, this has also made the game less enjoyable for me in comparison to Forza Motorsport games in the past. Some of my friends race differently than me. I like to race pretty clean, or quote-unquote sim if you will, while my friends like to race more intense and I guess dirty. There's nothing wrong with that. People should play the game how they want to as long as they are having fun. However, it has been very hard to get good, clean races due to this feature. I have spun completely out in many races, and as a result have become more aggressive in races in order to stay competitive. I don't really like racing this way, and therefore my career mode experience in Forza 5 hasn't been that enjoyable for me. While Forza 5 has some issues in terms of graphics like sharp edges and environments, I still find the game to look fantastic. It's definitely one of the best looking racing games on consoles, as it should be since this is a title for a new console. Certain tracks like Prague look better than others due to there being more things to look at in the environment. One problem though is that the lighting on the better tracks in the game is too bright, most to the point in which you can't see anything at all for a few seconds while racing in the cockpit view. Either way though, Forza 5 is a good game to have to show off your Xbox One console to friends. Forza 5 is a good game, but it's a disappointing one too. While the game looks good, the game's career mode isn't enjoyable to me due to the implementation of drive avatars. I like Forza 5, but at the same time the game has made me move away from Forza Motorsport series a little bit. It feels a bit strange to say this too due to how much I have loved the previous Forza Motorsport games. The next entry in the series needs to have more content, night and weather races, more options and controls for drive avatars, and other features for me to greatly be interested in it. Alright, hello everybody. This is my brother Jordan, and we're about to play a race in Forza Motorsport 5. We're both going to be racing Audis in Prague, and whoever wins the race will get some points added onto your score, alright? So you ready to go? Alright, let's do it. Alright, well, Jordan won that Forza match. I spun out a lot. He had more assists than me, but I'm, he's more used to arcade racing games, so I thought, that'll be fair for him to keep the assist on, and now, keep my normal assist, off for the most part. But, I tried to catch up, spun out a lot, and therefore he won, and therefore he gets to choose, well, pick points out of the score bag right here. Add on to his overall score. Alright, check it up. Alright, put your head up. Go ahead and pick. Oop. Alright, you got 4 points. We're getting 4 points a lot this season. Alright, so let's add 4 points onto his score. Alright, and that ends another episode of VPAT. I hope you guys have fun. Until next time. Jordan Davis, Brad Davis, we'll see ya. Alright, goodbye everybody.